Hello, my name is Ruslan. Today I'll tell you a crazy story you won't forget.
I found out my wife had a second phone because I answered it in our own kitchen at 6:14 a.m. while she was standing 3 feet away with her real phone already in her hand. Coffee had just started gurgling in the machine. I was still half asleep, hair a mess, brain running on fumes. A buzz came from the drawer by the fridge. I frowned, opened it, and pulled out a slim black phone with a cracked corner. It was vibrating so violently it nearly jumped out of my hand. Without thinking, I swiped and said, "Hello?" A boy's voice, high but steady, said, "Hi, Mom." I froze. I looked at my wife. Her face drained of color so fast it was like someone had unplugged her. She reached for the phone, but I gripped it tighter, my knuckles going white. "Who is this?" I asked, my voice rough. The boy repeated, louder this time, "Mom, are you there? You promised pancakes." Jade pressed both hands to her mouth, her shoulders trembling. I hung up, not because I wanted to punish the kid, whoever he was, but because the air between us had become too crowded. I set the phone down on the counter like a ticking bomb. She collapsed into the nearest chair, whispering, "Alex, please, let me explain." The kitchen clock ticked. The coffee maker spluttered. My life tilted. "You have a son," I said. She closed her eyes. Yes. The word was small, but it detonated everything. I wanted to yell, to demand, to rip the truth out of her throat. But I couldn't. Instead, I just stood there gripping the edge of the counter, the lemonade biting into my palms. She finally spoke again. "I had him when I was 19. Closed adoption. His name is Evan. He found me last year. Last year. 12 months of meals, vacations, anniversaries while she was carrying an entire secret life in a drawer by the fridge. Why didn't you tell me?" I asked, every word jagged. She stared at the floor. Because I didn't know how to say. I gave up a baby without losing the life we built. I was afraid you'd see me differently. So you let me see you falsely instead, I said. She nodded, sobbing now. I thought I'd have more time. But when he called, I couldn't say no. I picked up the phone. The lock screen was a picture of a lanky 12-year-old with stormy brown eyes. Her eyes, my stomach flipped. I scrolled through texts, got in and out. "Can I come over Saturday? Do you think Dad would have liked me?" That one appeared 3 times. Each time unanswered except for a heart emoji. The next morning, I confronted her again. "He calls you Mom. You give him half answers. Why?" "Because I don't know how to be both his mom and your wife," she whispered. I didn't know if I was allowed. "You were allowed to be honest," I snapped. Silence. Later that week, she asked me to come with her. To meet him. My chest tightened. My brain screamed no, but my mouth said yes. We met Evan at a diner on Maple Street. He sat in a booth stabbing his straw into ice water. When he saw Jade, he lit up like sunrise. He hugged her fiercely, then his eyes cut to me. "So you're the reason she didn't tell me," he said. I almost choked on my coffee. Jade stammered, "Evan," but I held up a hand. Maybe I am, or maybe she was afraid of both of us. He looked at me, skeptical but curious. We ordered pancakes. He drowned his in syrup until it was a lake. Jade barely touched hers. I watched them try to stitch 12 years of absence into one meal. It was messy and beautiful. After Evan went to the bathroom, Jade grabbed my hand. "Please don't make me choose." "You already chose," I said softly. "You chose silence. Now I have to decide if I can live with you." That night, Jade admitted the full story. She had gotten pregnant in college. Her parents insisted on adoption. She signed papers while still in a hospital gown, crying so hard she couldn't see. She spent years pretending she was free, but when Evan contacted her, it cracked everything open. She showed me emails, awkward first attempts, his anger, his hope. She showed me a photo he'd drawn when he was 6, of a mom with red hair though his adoptive mom was blonde. I felt crushed under the weight of something I hadn't agreed to carry but couldn't put down either. For weeks we lived in tense silence. Evan texted constantly. Sometimes Jade answered. Sometimes she didn't. One evening, he called crying because kids at school teased him for not having a real dad. My wife shut herself in the bathroom. I picked up the secret phone. "Hey, Evan," I said. Silence. Then, "Who is this?" "This is Alex, Jade's husband." "Oh." His voice cracked. "So you're not my dad?" "No," I said carefully, "but I'm here." We talked for an hour. About math, about Star Wars, about how hard it is to be 12. When Jade came out, she found me still holding the phone. She cried harder than I'd ever seen. The next weekend, Evan came to our house. He wandered through the rooms like a detective, cataloging evidence. He touched the photo frames, peeked into the study, asked about the backyard. Finally he said, "So this is where you were instead of with me." Jade collapsed into tears. I wanted to yell at him for being cruel, but then I realized, cruelty is just grief in disguise. Over time, Sundays became Evan days. He called me Alex, not Dad. He called her Mom, sometimes in a whisper, sometimes bold. We ate pizza, argued about dinosaurs, played video games. He tested boundaries. He left socks everywhere. He laughed like it was new each time, but it wasn't easy. His adoptive mom resented Jade's intrusion. His grades slipped. One night he shouted, "You can't just show up 12 years late and expect me to clap for you." Jade locked herself in the bedroom, shaking. I sat with Evan in the driveway until midnight, letting him yell into the dark. I told him, "You're right, she messed up. But maybe she's trying to make less mess now." He asked, "And what about you? Why are you here?" I swallowed. Because I married someone who once made a mistake. And I believe people can build something better if they tell the truth going forward. The truth is still messy. Jade betrayed me by hiding her son. She betrayed Evan by waiting so long to answer his call. And sometimes I feel betrayed by fate itself. Like someone handed me a play halfway through and told me to improvise the missing acts. But sometimes, when Evan laughs in our living room, or when he calls Jade Mom without flinching, or when he texts me, "Can you help with math?" I think betrayal can also be the ugly door you walk through to find a room you didn't know you needed. Now, whenever I open that drawer by the fridge, I don't see a secret phone anymore. I see the start of a truth, ugly and late, but real. So tell me in the comments, would you stay if you discovered your spouse had a hidden child from a past life? Could you forgive the lie if the truth came with pancakes and a chance to build a family out of broken pieces?